Welcome to ExceedTheHype.com. It's your boy Lucrecio coming at you with another video. Alright, this video is entitled, Is Kyrie Irving on the trading block? I know that's a ridiculous question to have to ask, but I have to ask it. Okay, let's look at the evidence. So, a couple of days ago, it was widely reported, that prior to the draft, the Cavaliers had a deal in place to try to acquire Paul George along with Eric Bledsoe. It was a deal with Phoenix, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos. It was a deal with Phoenix. The Cavaliers would have gotten Eric Bledsoe, Paul George. The Pacers would have gotten a fourth pick and other valuable pieces / filler. And the Phoenix Suns would have gotten Kyrie Irving, and I'm hoping either Indiana would have got Shumpert. Indiana or Phoenix would have ended up with Iman Shumpert as part of that deal. That was the first time Kyrie Irving was mentioned as a trade piece that I've heard about. Obviously, the story goes they went to LeBron with the trade idea to see if he'd sign off on it or if he'd re-sign if they did something like that, and he said no. And they axed the deal. First of all, I give this trade a F for fleeced because Cleveland would have gotten fleeced in it. I understand you're getting Paul George. You have to get Paul George to go along with LeBron and Kyrie Irving. And to be honest, somebody else needs to be included in that as well. You don't replace Kyrie Irving with Paul George. It doesn't make sense. Even if you get another point guard, it doesn't make sense. Kyrie Irving is like a nuclear missile or something on the basketball court. You need that firepower. He's one of the only players who has that type of game that can help keep a team in the game against a Golden State team with all that firepower. He's an answer. He's not the answer, but he's an answer for the bombing that Golden State does. So I give that trade a F, right? So what happens? That story comes out. Nothing happens, of course. The draft goes on as normal. And then here we are again. This time, the trade scenario is with Utah. So they trade him to the good old Utah Jazz, and they'd get back George Hill and once again Paul George. They're pretty set on getting Paul George, which is good, but this is the wrong guy to trade for him. They'll get George Hill and Paul George, and Indiana, I guess, would get some draft picks and some valuable pieces because there's no talk on Kyrie Irving going to Indiana or anything like that. Kyrie Irving would end up going to Utah in that deal. So Utah would get Kyrie Irving. Cleveland would have Paul George, George Hill. I give that trade an F for fleeced because you cannot trade Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is one of the special players in this league, right? Yeah, you could say he's not a great defender. Sometimes he takes ill-advised shots or whatever in inappropriate times in games. Whatever. All right, you need him. you need that kind of somebody with that type of game who can get that hot. And it's not even about necessarily getting hot. I think that's the best thing about it. Let's date back to last year's 2016 finals. He didn't get hot against the Warriors. He stayed hot for like 3-4 games in a row. If it had not been for Kyrie, substitute Kyrie Irving and on last year's team for Paul George and Eric Bledsoe, do they still win the championship? No. You need Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was so vital and important last year for that championship. You cannot trade him. Another thing I want to point out. I noticed a trend with these point guards that they're trying to replace him with. Eric Bledsoe, he's probably a little bit more of a distributor, and he's a way better defender. Okay, fair enough. So is George Hill. George Hill is a very smart point guard, a distributor. He's big. He's a big point guard, long arms and all that stuff. Really good defender. He can shoot, and yeah, he's a distributor. But that's not necessarily what you need playing with LeBron. Skills are redundant. They repeat. LeBron, in my opinion, is like a control freak on a basketball court. You could say him or whoever experts could say, oh man, we want to see a floor general with LeBron. We want to see that. It doesn't work. Like, LeBron can't play with a true point guard because he needs to create a large percentage of the offense. Even though he'll say he's tired or whatever, fatigued and needing a backup point guard, all this crap, as long as he's on a court, he's going to want to facilitate the offense at least like a good 60% of the time. So you need a point guard like this. And there's nothing wrong with Kyrie Irving's game. He's a scoring point guard. They're popular. Damian Lillard is one. Steph Curry is one. Russell Westbrook is one. Some of the best players in the league are scoring point guards. Kyrie Irving's in that league with them. He plays with an unselfish superstar in LeBron who wants to facilitate the offense a large percentage of the time. They fit together enough. The guy that needs to go on that team is probably Kevin Love. So I don't understand why Kyrie Irving keeps showing up in these trade scenarios with Cleveland. I understand they want to get Paul George. That's the right thought. You need to get Paul George. But it cannot be at the expense of Kyrie Irving. You got to figure something out. You have to go through all other 29 teams in the NBA and say, hey, do you guys like Kevin Love? Do you guys like Kevin Love? You got to find somebody who likes Kevin Love. You have to see what they got, and you have to see if Indiana wants any combination of players on your team and that third team or fourth team, whatever, to make something happen. But it's not going to be Kyrie Irving. It doesn't make sense. All right, leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what other scenarios are out there. And what scenario would you actually trade Kyrie Irving? If you ask me, there is no scenario. I trade him when LeBron walks out that door. Then I'm like, all right, Kyrie, if you want to go, you can go too, and we'll trade you for draft picks and restart the team. But if they were to trade him now, it's doomed for the Cavaliers franchise because LeBron's out the door. He might not even wait till next season. Might force a trade immediately, and then, basically cataclysm. All right, so leave your comments, subscribe. See you next time.